Good morning. How are we? Of course, the minute I turned this video on, Jessie wanted to go outside. So I've just let her outside, go on, go for a wee, hurry up. And she's just gone and laid out. So I guess she's just gonna lay in the sun for 30 minutes because I'm not gonna let her back in. Good morning, Meg. Good morning, Wanda. Good morning, Carrie. Good morning, Robin. And Robin. Okay, let's get started. So I've chosen a darker green for this one. And we're only going to use 2 strands for each of these little things here. So if you want to start separating that, you can. And then I picked an off-white color for all these little French knots at the top. So hopefully that will look nice, but we will see. So I'm going to start with this because I want the French knots to go on top of the green stems. Let's shimmy this over. And this morning I wrote this pattern and listed it. So it's in the shop right now if you want to grab it before, well, not before anything, if you just want to grab it. I was just thinking, I've tried to match the colors as best as I could, but some of them might be a little bit off, so I apologize for that. But it's up there. It's size for a 5-inch, which is this, 5 inches, and then there's a 6-inch as well. So yeah, let's get started. Now I need to make another one because I like that one so much. I feel like I need to make another one with a nice quote in it, you know? Something to get people a bit jazzed up. Just separating my thread. Uh-oh. Gonna give you guys, make you dizzy. And I got a stupid paper cut when I was packing the kits yesterday. Ugh, so annoying. Someone once said, the smaller the paper cut, the more it hurts. And you know what? I think it's true. So I'm using a smaller needle for 2 strands because, hi Susanna, because the needle that I normally use when I use 2 strands, oftentimes I will pull the thread out of the needle because there's nothing for me to really grab onto. So it's just slightly smaller. I don't know if you can tell. Just a little bit smaller. You don't have to change. You don't need to have a bunch of different ones, but I got an antique sewing box when I first moved here, and inside had so many embroidery needles, so many. So I've just been kind of picking and choosing from there. So if you do have an extra one, you can change. Hi, George. And if you don't want to change, then that's okay too. Right. So we're going to do an easy peasy back stitch for each of these little guys here. Try to make your stitches all the same length, and it will make it look really nice and neat. I only did 1 knot and I thought that would be enough, and it pulled through. So I will tie another knot. There we go. And I'm going to make these quite small. And I'm only doing 2 strands, so it is going to give a much finer line. And I was thinking the other day, do you know yesterday how I showed you the grid of French knots? I've got it just right here. You could also do a grid of 1 strand, 2 strands, 3 strands, 4, 5, 6. And that way you can really see how thick and how much of a difference it makes just by adding or subtracting one thread. Like, it really does make a difference. Someone said, Red Pickled says, I can't stop buying needles or thread. See, my problem is that because I have this antique needle embroidery box, I have a lot of needles that they don't make anymore, or they've changed slightly. So my problem is that a lot of times as you know, if you followed me for a long time, then you know that I used one needle for like 5 years, and then I lost it at the lake this summer. So I haven't really found another one that I really like that was exactly like that one. And I've bought a ton, a ton, trying to find the same needle that I did before. And I just can't find it. I'm debating whether I should turn the light on because this is quite dark. Is that a bit better? Maybe. Maybe not. It is a fine line though, so that's part of it. But yeah, so every time I talk about this, my needle situation, everyone's like, oh, did you try this one or did you try that one? And I've literally tried all of them. I've even tried needles that like don't look like my old one, just thinking that maybe I should just change it, you know? Like just find a new one to like. But I sound so depressed about it, don't I? About my needle. Oh. I'm not that sad about it, I promise. I just have a stuffed up nose, that's all. Oh, she's rolling out in the dirt. Jessie is. I can see her out the window. I still have a stuffed up nose. I'm just going to move this one over a little bit. Make it a little bit more bendy, you know? Oh, Carrie said I've bent my favorite needle. I don't know. There's just like something about when you use a needle for a long time, it almost feels like another finger. Like you can tell if it's a little bit wrong, or like you can tell if the threads like don't sit in there quite right. I don't know. Oh, thank you. I'm sure it's like just a cold. It's like not anything more serious or anything like that, but it is annoying. I'm not gonna lie. So all of these ones are going into the same hole on the bottom. I'm not trying to like stagger them out. Hello. Or anything like that. And the tips of these will all be covered by French knots, so you could probably even sneak another one in there, but I'm going to go straight down. Hello. And then I'm going to continue this all the way down to the stem. Ooh, Miss Elizabeth Lucy says, hi from Brisbane, Australia. Saw Jessica Turner's stories and fell in love with embroidery again. Haven't done anything since high school. So glad you have these on YouTube too, so I can catch up. Yeah, I think she found me in the free February stitch along. Oh, I almost had a knot there. And it's always so nice, like when I hear that people have like come over from her account, like she's recommended. She's so nice. Okay, so for the leaf, this one little leaf here, I'm gonna let you do what you wanna do with that. So I'm just gonna do a quick back stitch outline, and then maybe some details in the middle. But you can do however you want to as normal. So if you feel like, ooh, I'm going to satin stitch that, or ooh, I'm going to fill it with a brick stitch, or I'm going to do like a contrasting color for some details, or I'm just going to outline it and leave it empty, that is absolutely fine. And for those of you who haven't done much embroidery yet, I think I'm going to just add some small details in the middle. And you can always go back later if you don't like what you've done to any of the flowers and change them. So you can add an outline if you learn a new stitch from somewhere else in the pattern. Of course, you can go back and go, oh, I would like to add this to that one. So that's kind of the good thing about embroidery, is that like it doesn't ever have to be like finished, you know? And let's see here, where's my little pen? I think what I'm gonna do is just add a really small fly stitch right down the middle like this. And I'll show you how to do that. Do I want to do that? That might be too many lines, actually. Sorry. I was going to just outline it, but then I thought, no. Right, so for the fly stitch, I started to really like this one. We're going to make one straight stitch like this. And we're going to come up on the left. You can leave a space or you can make it touch the sides. It's totally fine. Down on the right. Leave that loop. And come up right at the bottom of that first stitch. Like that. And then pull. And what's happening is that this little stitch, this little loop here, is just being caught by this one. So now we're going to tack that down with a long stitch. Wanda says, I love fly stitch. I also love fly stitch. And it's one of those where when you use less strands, you get a really nice sharp point here to this one. But when you use more, sometimes it can be almost like a U, which I don't really like that much, but it's so nice and quick, you know? It is weirdly satisfying. So just 3 little guys, and this will go straight back down like this. Now, I'll often use the fly stitch on top as a detail. So you could do a satin stitch and fill this whole thing up. So this whole little flower, or not flower, leaf, you can fill that in and then do this fly stitch on top of it. So I wouldn't go back and do stitches underneath there because you're just gonna have a bad day. Like, it's gonna be a pain. So if you really wanna have a color under there, you could either do a satin stitch first or do like a split stitch and fill it in. Or you could use colored pencils and fill that in if you wanted to. That's totally fine as well. Robin says, it's all new to me, never embroidered, but I'm keen to learn, just watching and taking it all in right now. Also just really relaxing to watch. It is relaxing to watch, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, so now we're just gonna add some French knots on the very top of this guy, and then we'll be finished. So again, I've used this, I didn't write the number, but it's like an off-white color. And I think I'm gonna go for 3 strands because that's gonna give me some more details. So again, if you made this yesterday, if you made this grid, yeah, I didn't make the grid yesterday, I just showed the grid yesterday. But you can kind of see how if we did 6 strands, they would be quite big. Let me pull this down. They would be quite big up there. If we did 3 strands, I don't know, maybe they'd be quite small. It depends on how many you want to do as well. Maybe I'll do 6 strands, 1 wrap. We'll just see. We'll just see. Okay. Where did my other big needle go? There we go. Okay. I decided on 6. My head is telling me 3, but my heart is telling me 6. Because I love those big fat knots. So again, let me zoom out just so that you can see both of my hands. Yeah. On the top, you can just try 1 wrap and see how big of a knot that is. I'm gonna try for 2. Now, some people have said, like, how do you know? Like they said, I've seen you do the wrap, put the needle down a little bit, and then go, nope, I want more, or nope, I want less. How do you figure out how many wraps? And the way I figure it out is that I just guess. I just see what looks good to me, and if I'm happy with that, then that's what I'll use. So notice I'm not doing 1 at the end of each. I'm kind of staggering them. It looks like I'm doing 1 at the end of each, but that's not my intention. I'm trying to fill in this white space. So I wouldn't go here. I'm gonna go right next to it because I want to fill this whole top in. And guys, please, 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 please tighten your fabric. Lots of people have this really loose fabric. No. That one didn't turn out that nice. You need to have tight fabric. You want to hear that drum sound. Yep, 6 strands, 2 wraps, which is probably why it's not going through very well. All 6 strands. 2 strands for the green and 6 strands for the knots. So we're not going to start there. We're not going to stop there. I'm going to do another layer on the top. Now, the second layer on the top, because this is quite like a straight line, yeah? The layer on the top, you can either do less wraps if you want to, or you can just make it the same and kind of stick the knots in the next row, but in between each of the knots, yeah? let's see what one looks like. I think that'll be all right. We're just gonna try and stick these right between each of the knots, not in the same row, just above it. Okay, so do you notice that my thread keeps twisting around like this? Yeah, that's because as I'm doing the knots and I'm wrapping it around, it's kind of unwrapping itself. So what you need to do, if you find that this is the case, is turn your hoop over, like straight up upside down, and let this dangle, and it will, your thread will like untwist. And then you can continue and it will be way easier for you. So how many rows and how many wraps, this is up to you. You can do however you feel like. You can even do a third row, which I might do. And just make it a little bit shorter so it doesn't look so straight. I didn't really mean to do such a straight line there, but I did. Someone's just said, can you explain again later how to do the leaf, please? I missed something and it's not going out well. So after this, you can rewatch the video for 24 hours and then I'll put it up on YouTube. So you can go back and when you watch the live again on Instagram, you can go back and tap the right side of the screen to go forward or the left side of the screen to go backwards. So you can watch it again and again. Or you can just go on YouTube and do the forward and backwards. I'm gonna have to tighten this hoop up, aren't I? So there we go. Nearly finished. And I think I just need one more here and then I'll be done. It looks like curly hair to me, like short curly hair. All right, so that's all we've got for today. Don't forget to like each other's pictures, leave some comments. I need to take this out and tighten my fabric because I can already feel, whoa. It's really, really, gotta go. My eyes can't stay open. All right, so there we go. Tag me in your pictures and stories, grid pictures, whichever you prefer, and I'll repost them throughout the day. And yeah, have a lovely Thursday, and I will talk with you later. Bye.